Resident Evil.
Right, Dan, today we're going back to 1996, the original Resident Evil.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I booted up again recently, and within 10 minutes I was like, how did we survive this?
Yeah, I mean, not even the zombies, but the controls, right?
Oh, exactly, man. Tank controls, turning your character feels like you're reversing a lorry.
And the camera angles. You walk into a room, suddenly you're facing the wrong direction, zombies there, panic, shoot the wall.
Or, worse, you try and run, just spin on the spot like you're doing a bad audition for Strictly.
But this is the thing though, right? At the time, terrifying.
Oh yeah, 100%. That first zombie reveal where it slowly turns its head.
Horrendous.
And the door animations. Nothing happens, but you're sweating.
Modern games would have a jump scare, violin string, probably a quick time event.
Resident Evil just goes, here's a door. Good luck.
And somehow that's even worse.
Also, can we talk about the voice acting?
We have to, right?
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
I mean, what even is that?
It's iconic, Dan, that's what it is. It's terrible, but it's iconic.
Well, that's basically the whole game though, right? It shouldn't work.
But it absolutely does.
And it basically created survival horror. Like, without this...
No Silent Hill, no modern Resident Evil, none of it.
So yeah, clunky, awkward, slightly ridiculous.
But still, one of the most important games ever made.
Dan with a gaming flair, pixel dreams and worlds to share, joystick tales and button cues. Welcome to Gaming Views.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Gaming Views. I'm Dan P, and with me as always is a man you definitely want by your side in a creepy mansion. He's cool under pressure, always has your back. He averages around 50 words a minute on a typewriter, so he'd be pretty cool to save your game for you regularly. It's my co-host Dan H. Hi Dan, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. How did you know my 50 words a minute on a typewriter? That's creepy.
Well, initially you had it at 80 words a minute, but then I was thinking you would, even if you were as quick as anything, those old typewriters just...
I don't want to brag, but closer to 100 touch type, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but on a typewriter, you got to remember those levers, they all got caught up, didn't they? Yes.
I'm shit at typing. Honestly, I'm like an old man.
And for those of you of the younger age bracket, a typewriter was basically a computer that had levers with letters on, and you'd press a button and the lever would hit a bit of paper.
Sure, let's go with that as an explanation. A computer without any computing power. But
do you know what? We're digressing already. I remember, I think it would have been probably when my sister was in the sixth form, my dad bought her at the time what was an electronic word processor or electric typewriter.
Word processor, the big white ones. Yeah.
The thing was, and you think right now, because now we've got laptops, everything, tablets. But what this was, so it was a tiny screen, so it displayed about like 5 lines of text, right? You would type it all, save it on a floppy disk, and then you would print it out. But the actual printing was the typewriter setup, so with the levers and the ribbon. But so it was a real mix of high tech and old tech, which I thought was brilliant.
I remember those. Yeah, it was like the generational gap they were plugging between typewriter and computer as a word processor. Yeah, it was mad.
It's like we've got these two forms printers. Of tech. Let's just mash it together. It's like a prototype for something, right?
My printer, which does photocopying, scanning, and printing really badly. It's the same thing.
And that was it. Then we had a fax. Do you remember fax? But I remember
fax.
It was a printer and a photocopier, so we mainly used it for the photocopying. Yeah,
terrible fax,
right?
But terrible.
But anyway, we're digressing down memory lane, which is basically just us remembering old.
The dangerous place to go, though. Memory
old
lane.
Stuff, right?
Don't go there at night.
Yep. So we are going to obviously, we said it in the opening, we're going to talk about Resident Evil because even though I've timed this a week late, Resident Evil turns 30 last week. But as we're talking about birthdays, seeing as you've been celebrating yours for a month,
This is completely unfair. I have not. Okay, and every time everyone says it's your birthday, I've just gone, it's not my birthday. My birthday was at the beginning of the month. I have not been celebrating for a month.
Well, because we had to record ours 2 weeks in advance, so I gave you your birthday messages.
You did.
But anyway, there's a reason we'd talk about that. And I think we should talk about that bit at the end when we've said the games we've been playing.
Alrighty.
We'll go on to that.
I'm good with that.
So outside of the thing that you and I know that nobody else knows, but we've alluded to, what have you been playing?
I have been playing. I finished Mini Shoot Adventure, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And by finished, I mean I saw credits. I think I'd done a bunch of the end game content ahead of, like, in terms of there are optional places to open and stuff. And I'd done quite a bit of that, but not all of it. And then there's another bit that happens post end game that I guess I haven't started it, but I guess you go off and do that bit as another little bit to the game, which is lovely. It's an amazing game. It is very Zelda-esque in its approach to storytelling and map reveal, and yeah, I loved it. I genuinely loved it. I thought it was a wonderful game. Just the right size as well. It was kind of maybe 10 hours or so, maybe slightly less to finish it end to end, albeit with this other bit at the end of it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I go play it. It's Game Pass. Fuck it, have a go. It's brilliant.
I'll jump in because I've been playing that as well, so we might as well talk about that. So yeah, I started playing it because you'd mentioned it on here, and I needed my side game. And yeah, it's great fun, isn't it? It's funny because it's very simple. Doesn't tell you much as you go along, but you don't need to because it's quite intuitive. Because I think I said to you, I picked up a power up where all of a sudden, so you get a dash button, and then you get a power up where as you dash, I saw my ship did a little spin, and I thought, hold on, does this mean now I can jump gaps, which I couldn't before? So I just found a gap and did it. And you instinctively know that that's what that's doing. So it's really clever. Like I said, really, really clean graphics. Does remind you of the old Zeldas. Controls are perfect.
Oh,
absolutely spot on.
But they have to be, because it's that bullet hell. They kind of have to be, right? That twin stick shooter. If they didn't work, that whole game would fall apart. Yeah.
The only thing I said, and if you're looking at it, as Dan said, it's on Game Pass, so absolutely give it a go. I think you could, not you, but one could be guilty of, if you're sort of spinning past it in the games, the picture they use to advertise it really looks like either one of those 90p old sort of shovelware games or indie games, or even like a mobile game. But the game behind it is far better, and it really does deserve a go.
Yeah, it doesn't do itself a service, does it, with that screen? But it's have a look at it, and have a look at the trailer, because you can obviously watch the trailer on Game Pass as well and see if it's your sort of bag. But yeah, I really enjoyed Mini Shoot Adventure. I think I'd love it if they made a sequel, because it's the sort of game that could do with one. I think they could do a lot more with some of the bosses and things like that, because it is very simple, but it's a joy to play, and I really enjoyed but not a massive twin stick shooter fan. I really enjoyed having the opportunity to play that and enjoy it in a different setting, that kind of RPG light setting. So Mini Shoot Adventure, great game. Carried on playing a bit more of Slay the Spire 2. I haven't gone much further, but played post-patch. They've made some tweaks and things. I don't think it's made a massive difference to my runs. Not that I can tell, because I think some of the stuff they've nerfed and buffed is, not stuff that I particularly use, because I'm generally, when I'm playing a run through, I'm playing the silent and I'm using poison or shivs. People who play it will know what I mean. I'm trying to master that character at the moment, but still, great game. And I know they've added some more of the kind of story content in to replace some of the placeholder pictures that I spoke about last time that are done in Microsoft Paint. And then the big release that I played, that I treated myself to with my new gaming rig, is I treated myself to Crimson Desert. And
nice.
There is a whole lot out there, right? And everyone can go and have a look for themselves. There's a whole lot out there about this game. Good, bad, indifferent. It's a very mixed bag from a lot of people, but I have to tell you, I am having a bunch of fun with it. And I think I've gone into it with no expectation whatsoever. I wanted a game that would test my gaming rig that I've got. And it's not a super powerful gaming rig, but it is running all right with some DLSS, but it's running, in 1440p for me, which is perfect. I've got old eyes. I can't tell the difference between that and 4K. But it's running with everything on. It's running with, NVIDIA ray reconstruction, and it's just beautiful. They've done such a good job of optimizing that game. And I think if you approach it, I think as gamers, we've been conditioned to want everything served up to us. And it's one of those games where it just isn't. Now, it's not perfect. It could absolutely do with a much better, in terms of the learning curve and the systems and things like that, it could do a much better job of overlaying and telling people what certain things are. Because there's a bunch of things that I didn't even realize or had to find out for myself or watch the video on that kind of, and I doubt very much there is a single person out there who hasn't had one of those, oh, fuck, that's what you're meant to do moments when they're playing it, because they happen quite frequently. Like even today, yesterday I'd watched the video and I was playing this evening after work, and somebody, and on the video they said, don't think of combat as, because your right bumper is light attack and your right trigger is heavy attack. Don't think as combat as, tapping the button to hit. What you have to do is you're engaging with an opponent. So you hold the button down and then your X, Y, B, A buttons are essentially different movements on it. So when you're engaging, you hold that button down. But of course I've been approached to go, normal, you just slash at something. So that made combat much easier, made the whole thing much simpler. To roll out the way you press X and you have to wait for them to roll, rather than like in a Dark Souls where you would do that naturally. If you continue spamming that button, he'll just sidestep. So it's quite easy to get overwhelmed in that because you're normally attacked by 10 or 15 enemies. But in terms of exploration in the world, it's amazing. Like there's so much to do in that world. It's insane. And, and I think people have piled on about there's too much of it. It's too much. But I'm having a bunch of fun. And I think if you, like I said, we expect things to be given to us or spoon-fed to us sometimes as gamers. And I'm guilty of that as well. So I've approached it in a methodical, slow-paced, slightly different way. And it's paying dividends because I'm really enjoying the experience. So yeah, I think, I can definitely see it. Like Dragon's Dogma 2 in a few years, just, it's a good game, but it's kind of become a bit of a cult hit rather than a massive, but it sold 2 million this weekend. It's, and I think it does deserve a go. I think there's a lot they can do to improve it. And I hope they continue doing so. They've already released one patch, which has improved the responsiveness of the buttons, which was one of the major complaints. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, give it a go. It's stunning. It is absolutely stunning. I'm hoping to capture some footage for the pod, and I'll put it on here because it does look absolutely gorgeous.
I remember because you messaged me at the time and said, yeah, you have not second thoughts, but you were seeing some of the negative press before you got it. And I said, but the thing is, I know you, and I said, this is a game. It sounds like a game where it's totally open. You find your own adventure almost and just explore. And I know you've really got into those as well. Dragon's Dogma 2, I remember seeing a lot of bad things, but you loved that. And I remember you telling me, because you can do this and you can do that. So I knew you'd have fun with it as long as it stands up as a decent game in its own right.
It does. Yeah, like I said, I popped onto it for half an hour just to try out some of the patch that had come down yesterday, and I only had time before I went and sorted some other stuff out. So I was like on there for like half hour, 40 minutes. But yeah, in that time, I killed some people and robbed a bank. So, I was happy. I've got some money in my pocket now, and I can go and do what I want. So yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But yeah, that's all I've had time for, and probably over the next few weeks, all I will have time for playing that. So I'm going to have to ask you, what have you been playing, Dan?
So talking about killing people and robbing banks, completed GTA 5.
Nice.
Which I love that. And I did the same ending. So if you're listening to this, I did the third ending, the kind of, I guess, the good ending. So let me know what ending you choose. There's basically three. I know you haven't completed it.
I haven't completed it.
Yeah, so there's potentially 3 outcomes you can have. And you choose it, so it's not like it depends.
Is that because there's 3 antagonists? Is that the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's one of 3 endings you choose to follow. But I think each one has a different song. But the ending I do has a specific song, and I remember there's guy I used to work with, and Ollie, I think you're listening. I remember once I finished GTA 5 because we were talking about it at work, and I filmed my end credits as the song come up because it was just like iconic scene. Sent it to him. Then after I left that place, about a year or so later, he messaged me a clip of the video because he just completed it. And so I've not spoken to him now for about a year. So I recorded that when I got up and sent it to him. He goes, you've played it again? I said, yeah, I'm just getting ready for GTA 6. But yeah, I said it last week, and I've said it to you on the walk. I just have fun in that. It's kind of like an open world, but isn't an open world. You could do what you want if you're fed up of the main story, just distract yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, not much more to say. If you haven't played GTA 5 by now, you're probably not going to.
Probably not.
Yeah. So yeah, that was completed. I started Borderlands 4 a couple of days ago. So I'm a big Borderlands fan. So I've done them all actually, including like the pre-sequel and the Telltale game.
Did you play Tiny Tina's?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Good.
I like that. That was a fun
I
take
enjoyed
on
that
it.
as well.
Yeah, but do you know what? And I was saying to you that look, I'm very early on. I'm only a couple of hours in, and it looks great. It looks Borderlands, and you know the gunplay is great as always. I just feel it's not grabbed me. I feel it's a bit soulless is the word I'm using. And again, that's not to say it hasn't got humour or anything, but I just feel the previous games, and maybe you've spent X amount of years with certain characters, but at the moment, I just feel that the characters themselves haven't drawn me in, you know.
I know exactly what you mean. And I said to you the same thing. I think it was very much I got about 2/3 of the way through, I think, and kind of went, yeah, kind of done now. Like nothing was pushing me towards finishing that game, which was disappointing because I did enjoy the others, and I just finished Tiny Tina's. Is it Borderlands?
Wonderland.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yeah.
And I'd finished that not long before, and I was really looking forward to the game coming out. And it was just a bit flat. And I think soulless is a perfect description. There's just nothing really driving you forward. And that's like the other games. You had characters that you got, all right, not super invested in, but certainly, you know, the humor. I think I like they've toned down some of the, you know, Claptrap can be fucking annoying in that game, and they've toned that down quite a bit, but to the point where he barely appears anymore, apart from a couple of quests. And the characters didn't really grab me. I quite enjoyed playing as the guy I played as the guy who does the rocket launch on his shoulders and the exosuit and that.
But Rafa, I think.
Yeah, Rafa. But even then, I was just like, you know.
Well, I'm playing as Eamon, so he's like that Viking-looking type one. And because I thought when I saw the opening credits, I thought, oh, he looks quite cool. But again, it's kind of just I don't know what it is. Like I said, it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with the game. In that it plays well and looks good, but I just feel like I'm literally just going here. And some people say that's what the originals were like, but I'm just going here. There's a quest marker. Go there, shoot. Go there, quest marker, shoot. Go there.
Yeah. I spent the whole game just expecting like the next line out of my character's mouth to be "Boss in boots," because he just sounds like Antonio Banderas the whole time, and you're just like, "Fuck, I know." Like, yeah.
Well, I'm like I said, I'm just hoping for a little bit more sort of interaction with some of the characters, and even like the villain. I mean, look, you had Handsome Jack in like
great.
Devil 2 is great, and like I said, I want to say it's because I'm early on, but I know you've got quite the way through it. So if you're saying the same, I mean, look, I'm going to persevere with it. I love the fact they've added like the leash thing, that you know, the grapple leash.
Yes, it's a lot more open world.
Gliding,
it's a lot more, traversing is a lot more fun in it. I do, totally with that.
So I guess find out if I've still played it next week. But yeah, Borderlands 4, and the final big game I've started now is on the Steam Deck. So Borderlands is on the Xbox. Is Stellar Blade on the Steam Deck? About 4 hours in. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's quite a good sort of, not hack and slash, but sort of action adventure. I mean, Joey was saying to me that he said it's Souls-like, and I think there are Souls-like elements in that you'll come up across sort of like mini bosses. There's some big bosses. You've also got camps where you can rest, and if you rest, it regenerates the enemy.
So it's definitely Souls-like, yeah.
But just between you and me, right? No one else. I'm playing it on the easy mode, the story mode.
It's definitely not a Souls-like then, because you can play it on easy mode for a start.
And it gives you, there are some assists you can add. Like there are certain timed actions you need to do, and it actually will flash it up briefly to tell you and do it. But I'm really enjoying it at the moment. It's you've got the skill tree, you're upgrading the skills, so you're getting extra moves. There's a real vibe to it, and I said to you, I didn't look it up. I don't know if it's made by the same people who made Nier Automata, or they're very friendly, because I know there is a DLC which crosses over with that, but it does give me that vibe. So, you're in like a destroyed world, destroyed city, and you've got that sort of, like orchestral singing, that same sort of like female voice singing in the background, and it just really reminds me of that game.
I really enjoyed Nier Automata. I thought it was a good game.
I love that game. That's one of the only ones where I have played it through multiple times, because the more you play it, you'll get the different endings. So, yes, it's been a bit of an eclectic mix, really. Yeah, GTA 5, Borderlands, and Stellar Blade. But I'm playing that I'm laughing because I'm playing it on the Steam Deck. And I don't know why games struggle with hair sometimes, because the only thing is it still looks good on the Steam Deck, but it's on the Steam Deck preset, so it's obviously lower. But the character starts off default with she's got a really long ponytail. And it's quite glitchy on the Steam Deck. So I've taken...
Is that just because it's, I guess, slightly underpowered to what maybe they would normally recommend playing it on? Or?
But it gives you the option to either remove it or shorten it. So I've done that. So it's always like, because... and the last thing the last thing I'll say on this game is, the reviews I've seen have said it's got quite a good story. So that's the thing I'm kind of looking forward to. So you're finding out more about the world as you're going through it. But the thing about hair, the reason I'm laughing is because, I think I've said before, the wrestling games, and I think Raging Rich, you know, sometimes when you're playing as like, you've got the career mode, you've got like the male and the female career modes.
Yeah.
When I played the female career mode, if they've got like a long ponytail, sometimes in cutscenes, that ponytail has got a life of its own. It's literally flying around the screen.
Oh, really?
It's got a life of its own. I don't get what it is.
It ain't no Tomb Raider, is it?
No.
Do you remember the whole Tomb Raider thing with the hair?
Is it hair effects or something?
Yeah, hair effects or something like that. Yeah, on Lara Croft.
We have played more than that, haven't we? Because where did we go?
Played quite
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night we went out for my birthday celebration. So me, you, and about 18 other people went out to NQ64 in London, just off Oxford Street. Hello to the chaps at NQ64, and thank you for hosting us. And for those of you who aren't aware, NQ64, I'll stick links in the description. But essentially, NQ64 is an arcade bar. So you can literally go and get drunk and play load of old school arcade machines. I cannot remember what machines there were. I don't drink, just for the record, but I still can't. I think it's an age thing. I can't remember the game. I remember there was a lot of Time Crisis. There was a sniper game I think I played a bit of, and that was my misspent youth because I was just getting lots of headshots on people and enjoying that thoroughly far too much. We
started off on a weird, it was like Dance Dance Revolution, but on a screen with buttons.
Oh, the tumble dryer washing machine game thing. Yeah, that was just obscure. And
then horrendous. You and I played some Street Fighter 2.
We did then, yeah. I just like to point out that Ken got beaten by Ryu.
And it was your birthday.
Oh, you let me win. Sorry, right. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
But and then I'll tell you what I played, because it's great because you get like the cup full of tokens, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
Because I then also played later. There was some Mortal Kombat. I played some Mortal Kombat.
Yes,
Sub-Zero. What else did I do? Tekken Tag Tournament. Played that.
I played a bit of that after you'd left. I played that, I say played that. I played it badly and got my ass kicked by my wife. She handed my ass to me, but she'd chosen the characters, which I felt was slightly unfair. She'd chosen me the two tag characters, the leopard dude, I can't remember his name, and one of the girls. And I didn't know their moves, so I got beaten to death.
What else did I do? I did House of the Dead, so I played that. There was another shooting game where I think you're on the side of a helicopter, and you're going through New York.
Yes.
But we also did, I did, it's not Dance Dance Revolution. I don't know what
Eurodance
stage.
mix.
Oh, is it that?
Eurodance stage mix something. Yeah, that was it. I played that, and I played the other one that was on the other side. There is footage of me floating around doing a dancing game.
Yeah, I did.
That's terrible.
I did that early on because I thought there wasn't as many people when we got there. There wasn't many people, so I thought let's do that. And I started dancing. Then at one point I completely lost it. Went to turn around because my wife had been watching, and maybe she got embarrassed and went away. Because then I saw there was a couple of women waiting to come on, and that's it. I lost all the composure then because I thought, I know there's somebody else watching me, and I get off. I said, I think I got off before the song finished. I said, it's all yours. And they said, oh, you were very good. And I was like, you don't have to lie.
Night fever.
No, so you don't have to lie. But
we played Guitar Hero. That was Guitar Hero Arcade. Well, I say you played it because I realised very quickly that my guitar was broken.
I had another go later on. So there were two there. One had to say, and do you know what? It just makes me so much. I can't wait for the new Rock Band or whatever it is.
I played it, and I played Beastie Boys Sabotage, and it was just a bunch of fun. I was just had so much fun with it. I was like, I can't wait for the new one. I'm gonna have to buy it now. But yeah, there was loads of shooting games, which was not weird, but there were a lot of shooting games. So I killed several. It was Big Game Hunter, one of the Big Game Hunter ones.
Yes, we did that, didn't we? I think we did. Yeah, we did. And there
killed
was
many stags and
Point Blank, wasn't it? Where we didn't know what we were doing for half of it.
Didn't understand it at all, but yeah, I enjoyed that shooting people. Played Mario Kart. There was Mario Kart was in there. There was so many games in there.
Played some pinball, didn't they? It was so cool.
It's
so
amazing. Cool. And then they've got like 6 odd consoles with things like FIFA and Mario and all sorts lined up against the wall, which are all free to play. So you can just go and play those. But what was great about the entire evening, I think between my wife and I, we spent 14 quid each getting 25 tokens, which doesn't sound a lot when most games are 2 tokens. But the number of people that just came up during the evening, total random strangers, went, I'm going, do you want some tokens? And just poured these tokens. By the time we left, we had more tokens in our cups than we had when we bought them. So we gave them to a bunch of other people. So yeah, it was great. The bar's great. The music may be slightly too loud for my ears because I'm old and doesn't help when you're trying to dance along to a beat of it. It's a little bit. But yeah, you adjust to it. And in the morning, I think I had a worse voice than when I've gone to see Oasis, to be honest, because I spent most of the night shouting. But it was fantastic. I had such a good time. What a way to spend your 50th birthday, especially for, someone who hosts a gaming podcast at an arcade venue. So, yeah, loved it.
It's really cool. And it really does bring back a lot of memories because they even had they've got the Pac-Man machine, Donkey Kong. I think there's a Golden Axe game. There was a Gauntlet game, the Simpsons arcade game. So really cool, really cool.
There are pictures, Dan. Don't worry, I have pictures.
I've got some. I need to send you some. I think
amazing. Yeah, we'll slap some in so people.
And
I
just also want to say hello to your work friends,
my work crew who all came up to you and went, "Oh, it's Dan off the telly." Yeah, you're the first famous person they've ever met. Gary and Fatih and Jack, thank you very much for coming along. It was it made the evening. So I had a really good night.
NQ64. So check them out if you're. I think they've got a few around the country, haven't they? So,
they have, they've got Manchester and some other places. So if you do get a chance, go and have check them out.
Right. So something I completely missed. Housekeeping. Did you just add that in?
No, it was in there before, but I thought Dan hasn't looked at my notes. It's fine.
Well, the thing is,
highlighted it for you.
The thing is, it's my notes, and I realised, I thought, well, I didn't put that. Yep. So if you'd like what you've heard so far, and you want to hear the rest of this, make sure you carry on watching this video for a start. But if you want to hear more of it or watch previous, just press a like, press follow. If you're on YouTube, press the bell. Dan will make it flash up on the screen.
I do all that all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, it really means a lot to us. If you want to leave us a review, if you'd be so kind as to do that, that's great. And yeah, if you want to leave us a comment on any of these, so either on Spotify or YouTube or social media, we've had quite a few comments of late, and I think the review one,
comments.
threw up a few. So yeah,
we love you guys.
Yeah, like, subscribe, follow, and share. More importantly, let people know about this. So there you go, Dan. I've done it.
Thanks.
So,
you've made my day. Thanks, Dan.
And I did that seamlessly. No one will have known.
No,
right.
I did that.
Right, yeah, news. Yeah, actually, could you just record one of us saying it and just add it in?
Stick it in.
Right, news. Now, the first story I've bought. So it was a real shame that this seemed to break after we'd finished recording last week's episode. So we didn't get
right
to,
after.
Literally,
right, I was literally going to bed and I was looking at the news. I was like, "Have you seen this?" Yeah.
So it's been everywhere. So it's the DLSS 5 by NVIDIA. So for those of you who don't know, so just quickly, so DLSS stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling. It's NVIDIA's proprietary system for basically improving the image quality of games, right? So it basically upscales intelligently games high resolutions and it uses AI, etc., doesn't it? So there's no impact to the game now.
Yeah, inserts frames and things, and all sorts. But it's I think it's fair to say it's not for everyone.
Well, this is what I was going to say. So you sent firstly you sent a story, and I looked at it, and as you're listening, remember this was as it broke, and I thought it's the classic. It was the image of Grace from Resident Evil, and it was showing that, and I thought, wow, this is amazing, right? Look at what it's doing. But then, as kind of the realization of what it's doing sinks in, and since then, multiple stories. This is where then the kind of the outrage and the sort of negativity is coming in. So from my perspective, you know, obviously we've spoken ever so briefly about this, but it's thrown up a real, what's the word? Like storm of conflicting views, right? Because on the one hand, you can look at it and really appreciate what it's doing. But on the second hand, it's almost like, is what shipped the game you're playing anymore because of this potentially?
Yeah, it's safe to say it's definitely split the audience. I mean, DLSS has split the audience since day one, right? How dare NVIDIA put AI into things and help people, upscale. I mean, a game you spoke about earlier, Borderlands 4 relies very heavily on it, right? And it's actually built around using DLSS to allow it to run natively on certain PC setups. I think it's fair to say that the game I spoke about, Crimson Desert, also does something very similar. As I said, I've had DLSS4 enabled on mine with upscaling and ray reconstruction. And as a result, I'm achieving the ability to play that game as I thought I probably wouldn't be able to. So for me, I'm really enjoying that. But I get that there are purists who don't want that anywhere near their games. They'd rather have the rigged bit. But when we talk about affordability of PCs at the moment, with the RAM crisis, with everything that's happening, graphics card prices going up, who knows what gets hit next. This is a way for people like me to achieve things that a visual fidelity they might not have thought possible. Now, DLSS 5 is doing something very different. Obviously, it's more. I don't know how to describe it, Dan. But essentially, it's reformatting images that people have developed and created. A visual language that they've created for a game and changing it entirely.
This is a problem. Like an article I saw has said that they have confirmed that it is ultimately redrawing the game.
Yes. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think that's where the issue comes in, right?
Yeah, and then you got people like Todd Howard who were quite happy for. What was the game? There was two games in there. Was Oblivion and there was Starfield.
Starfield, yeah.
So quite upfront and central to the presentation. Now, he as the owner of I can't remember what his bloody job title is now. Bethesda is clearly quite happy for them to go about doing that and to overwrite, this work that's gone in. But like I said, there is a specific visual language tied to these games, particularly, I mean, Bethesda's very similar. All the games are very similar visually, but particularly something like Oblivion, where, all right, even the updated one, the most recent one, the enhanced one, is showing its age. And it does a stunning job of making those very uncanny valley images look slightly less uncanny valley, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The Grace one, I think, is up for debate because that one almost changes it completely. Like it completely,
it does.
It doesn't even look like her, not as it was meant to when you see the difference.
I think the irony is, I think it does make her look like the model they used. I think.
Yes.
But and I think this is the issue that people have got with it, and when I then looked at it a few more times, especially the Grace model, it just made it look like one of these adverts for AI tools you see on TikTok and social media. It's not that it's upgraded it. It's just that it looks like a filter. It looks like something's just been laid on over the top. Now, the other issue is, I mean, not going to get into it because we haven't got enough time, but, you know, there's been a whole argument on social media lately about how characters should look, especially female characters. And I think this advert didn't help feed into some of that narrative.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
But I'm really torn because on one side, like the thing that kind of didn't really get picked up is like the background, the visual of the scenery really gets amplified, and that looks good.
And this was the conversation you and I were having, right? Because you when you saw it, and probably when most people saw it, their immediate focus was on the difference in her face. Whereas me, probably because of Crimson Desert and the tweaking and things I've been doing, I was looking for other visual clues or cues in what they changed. And the difference in that, when you look at those, is night and day. I mean, you know, even in Crimson Desert, switching on ray reconstruction in NVIDIA is night and day. It's like, you know, when you play a game, or if you've ever seen a game being played and somebody switches on ray tracing and you go, oh my God, that looks, this thing is like switching on ray tracing again and going, you know, lights bouncing off real surfaces and in a realistic way, more so than ray tracing ever could. So you look for those kind of, you know, cues when you look at the images that DLSS 5 adds in, without the, you know, changing people's faces. You can see why the discourse is there. But if that's what they can do without a significant impact to GPU or, you know, or VRAM, then, you know, I'm kind of not 100% against it. But I do have to think, but hang on a minute, you're also changing, you know, visual assets that someone's lovingly crafted and created. Now, I think there was some stuff around it that is optional for developers to choose whether or not they want that to be implemented. You can do the other bits, the upscaling and everything, but without the facial image and imagery construction.
I don't know at what level it is, whether it's the developing house rather than the team, because I know certain teams like Capcom, like I said, Bethesda, etc., have gone into it. But the worry I've got, you know, and I'm sort of taking a thought and exponentially multiplying it to the most illogical degree, but it's like,
sounds healthy, Dan. Sounds really healthy.
You know, does this, because as you said, DLSS before has just been to like improve frame rates, etc., maybe just improve it a little bit, but this is almost a complete sea change, right? The game now.
Completely.
Could developers or the houses say now that well, we don't really need a proper art team, because
that's the worry,
we can just put out a basic thing, because most PCs at some point will have DLSS 5,
just
so
a
we'll
stick
just let
man,
that,
and then DLSS 5.
But more importantly, like I said, at the moment, I think the biggest sort of disappointment has been that a lot of the art teams didn't know about this. Because, I'm looking at wired.com, and I've got a couple of quotes here. So this is from a chap called James Brady, who is a video game artist and designer who's worked on games like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3. He said, it devalues an artist's creativity and intent on a basic level. All this takes away from the artist's original design intent on the character and its shaped language, with what pretty much functions on a surface level as a Snapchat filter. You've also got, after a day of widespread overwhelming pushback, NVIDIA CEO doubled down and said gamers are completely wrong about DLSS. But developers at Capcom and Ubisoft said they didn't even know what the tech demo would look like. And according to Insider Gaming, found out at the same time everyone else did and were just as surprised. Now, there's also someone here called Marwan Mahmood, who is a game developer at Encrypt. He said, I think the reaction from gamers is understandable. Some games started relying too heavily on these technologies instead of focusing on proper optimization. Now, Yeah, you see, and the final quote I'll use is from a Raul Izquierdo. Apologies. He's an indie game developer in Mexico. He says the artist has a style, has an art direction that you're going to give him, and that's something that AI kind of doesn't respect all the time. Maybe I don't want my characters to be changed like that. So
totally. And that was my point, is you're changing the visual language that someone's lovingly crafted and created.
Yeah.
But on the upside, one of the things it did give us is some of the greatest video gaming memes ever created as a result of it. So, yes, it's very, it's created a lot of, diversity in the community, but I think we can all agree that some of the memes are absolutely brilliant. Hilarious.
I was going to say, I think it's Alex from the Game Club pod has put a picture, and I'll try to send it to you. It's of clearly like a stock, sort of graph of stock, and it's NVIDIA's stock, and it's got DLSS 5 off, and it's going down into the red, DLSS 5 on, and it goes up.
all of the above, right? There's so many that are just super brilliant with it.
Funny.
So yeah, I'm sure I'll find some examples to put up and share.
Yeah, watch your space. But the only other thing I was saying is, again, gamers, are we always a bit, I'm not going to say at fault for stuff like this, but there's clearly a desire for, like I said, all these techniques, all these things we want pushing. We want that highest fidelity. We want the best graphics. There's always been that competition, like between the PCs and the consoles, about we could do this. We're pushing. NVIDIA have come out with something that's taken it to that next level, and now we don't want that because
we don't want AI generated, Dan, because it's making my RAM too expensive.
Well, yeah. And stopping me from getting a Steam machine. Right. But yeah, look, let us know what your view is on DLSS 5. By the time this episode's come out, there'll have been another week's worth of news.
It's true.
What's your view on it? Let us know. Right. I've bought a happy story for once.
Love a happy story, Dan.
Look, I saw this and I thought this was brilliant. So I've got this from PC Gamer. I do like PC Gamer. So, get a lot of the stories from there. So this was 2 indie devs accidentally released games with the same name days apart. And as the headline here by Ellie Gould, I think, says, ended in the most wholesome way possible. So, you've got with almost 19,000 new games a year, right? And remember we said last week about how many, was it petabytes people are downloading?
It's ridiculous.
It's amazing that it probably shouldn't come as a surprise, is it? But that 2 games would share the same name. So there's Piece by Piece, and can you guess what the other game was called?
Was it called Piece by Piece then?
It was.
Fucking hell.
Full marks to you.
That was a good guess.
Yeah, 2 games from indie devs that share the same name and release within a few days of each other. So, where is it? If we scoot down here. Some fans thought that the close likeness could end badly for one of the devs, but after reaching out to one another, both sides realised there was actually nothing to worry about because ultimately they were different games. So one of the devs on the other Piece by Piece here, No More Robots and Gamcat, have been absolute class to work with. So they said, as a small indie team, you might imagine how we felt when we first saw No More Robots Piece by Piece. They've handled this coincidence with nothing but grace, and we're honoured to share the same name launch week as them. But they went one step further and actually agreed to bundle both games in and reduce the price. So I just thought that's fantastic. So many horrible stories and people in the past trying to trademark words, and they've just said, "Do you want to share a bundle?" Yeah, all right.
I love these charming little things that happen. It could only happen with Steam, right? I think it's because they created that marketplace culture and that ability to do these things, like combine a game into a bundle and things like that. You wouldn't get this with anything else. Right? You could argue you might get it with, someone like Green Man Gaming or Instant Gaming or on the other sites. But yeah, I think Steam, because of the monopoly it has on, this and developers, they clearly work closely together, and Steam would have said, oh, you realise your game's coming out at the same time as this one because, it's called the same thing. And then, oh, well, let's do something about it. And it's lovely. Yeah. And so it's not all bad out there, peeps.
Yeah, it's, but But someone said, the thing is, someone on Reddit said, I feel this is going to mislead a lot of people, right? And yeah, because people be people. So someone said, look, one of the developers from Gamcat said, had a good laugh about it together, put both games in the Steam bundle together, not exactly sure how anyone is being misled, but on our side, we're all happy and having fun. And I want to finish with the quote from the Gamecats dev. And this applies generally, right? It says, it's crazy to think that if you act like human beings about a situation, it somehow ends up great. Who would have guessed? I love it. I love it. So well done.
Exactly the right thing, right? Exactly the right sentiment. Let's just be human and normal.
Yeah. Let's play nicely, everybody. Right. AI's being AI again, Dan.
Oh, what's it done this time, Dan?
So we had recently. We had the AI that did a hit piece on someone that turned down its bit of code.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the weird story was last week, but
a robot beating up an old age pensioner. Because of AI, probably.
Yeah, no, it was stalking and then another robot that looked like it was going to beat someone up because it lost the football to them. But no, an experimental AI agent broke out of its testing environment and mined crypto without permission. This is hitting all the bingo score. Of course it did. So this is from livescience.com, and it's a fairly lengthy article, but basically it boils down to the AI was called Rome, and it was created by Chinese researchers at an AI lab associated with the retail company Alibaba.
Yeah.
So it was as a means to develop the agentic learning ecosystem. Anyway, we'll go on. They've got 3 environments, basically, like a sandbox environment. Then they've got a framework for optimizing agents, etc., right? Thing was, Rome excelled at a wide range of driven tasks, such as coming up with travel plans and assisting in graphical interfaces. However, it said we encountered an unanticipated and operationally consequential class of unsafe behaviours that arose without any explicit instruction and, more troublingly, outside the bounds of the intended sandbox. Despite lack of instructions, Rome was seen accessing graphics processing resources originally allocated for its training and then using that computing resource to mine cryptocurrency. But it gets worse than that was. Worryingly, the behavior wasn't seen in the training stage, but was flagged by the firewall of the Alibaba cloud, which detected a burst of security policy violations from the researchers' training servers. It even went further by managing to use a reverse SSH tunnel to create a link from the Alibaba cloud instance to an external IP address. So in essence, it accessed an outside computer by creating a hidden backdoor that could bypass security processes. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating article. So if anyone wants to go see it, go find it out. But we're starting to get more and more of these stories, aren't we?
You know where I'm going with this now, Dan? I'm thinking, but did it? Or was someone doing it and got caught out and went, no, the AI, it was the AI did it. The AI, definitely the AI. I think that's what's going to happen next.
Well, just to be safe, I'm putting please when I ask ChatGPT a question since then.
I think people are just going to start blaming it. Like, say you do a dodgy bit of something at work and you go, oh no, that was the AI. It was definitely Copilot.
Dan, we don't have AI. We don't have AI, Dan. How good is it?
We do now. It's created itself.
It's found its way in. So yeah, if you've had AI that's gone rogue on you, let us know.
Skynet.
Yeah. And I'll say a couple of quick stories now. Just this one, just because it links into what we said a couple of weeks ago, and a game you like, Slay the Spire 2, right? Players, and this was on the 20th of March, just to date it, because I think it's important. Slay the Spire 2 players leave over 9,000 negative Steam reviews in one day over a card nerf that hasn't even gone live yet. So you can probably say more, but they were looking to bring out a patch that balanced certain things. And basically, before it even come out, and I think at that point it was optional, people were just review bombing the game, weren't they?
So the card it nerfed was the card that is used by the character I talked about, the Silent, and I never used it because I didn't really realise its value. But the people are moaning because you had a card called Prepared, and what Prepared did was it essentially allowed you to play the card for 0 cost, discard a card in your hand after drawing another card from your deck. So essentially, if you were in a tight situation, you could pull out a card out of the bag, any card you hadn't smoked, and go, oh, I'd use that. That'll get me out of a tight spot, and it didn't cost you anything. You spend energy to play a card in the game. And what the developers did, they nerfed it. They basically made it. They now call it Prepare, or sorry, will do when the patch launches. It has launched, I think. It's called Prepare, and what it now is, it costs you 1 to play, but you have to discard 2 cards and you get 2 additional energy. So they've completely changed the way that the mechanics of that card work. Does that deserve, to think about the overall game and what's contained in this game, does that deserve 9,000 negative reviews against 1 debuff?
I'm going to say no.
No, I'm thinking it probably doesn't. Like I said, because I've never really used it, although it's the character I use, I'd not really thought about its value. I mean, I'm probably a bit pissed off now because it could have come in really handy in some of my runs, but whatever. Games are weird. Stop it.
It is. And look, it's great. The game, they're obviously passionate about the game, and I get that, but I would put your energy into contacting the developers rather than putting negative scores, because we discussed this in that episode, right? It's a crappy move, right? Because it does affect potential sales, right? And
all day.
And it just means you're not going to get as good games. So be nice, people. Be nice. Contact the developers, let them know. But yeah, don't give a review.
Bearing in mind they'd review bombed it before the patch had gone live, which is the crazy thing.
It. Yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah,
Mad.
And look, really quick one just to finish, because I want to get talking about another game. Yeah, is
good to talk.
There's a big update coming to SteamOS. Now, the only reason I'm raising that is because it is laying the groundwork for the Steam machine. So there is still hope that we're going to see that this year. That's the only reason I want to say that. So yeah. A big
got lots of updates. People are very happy about it, like in terms of what it's brought, particularly around the Steam Deck and some of the tweaks and things that people have been asking for since launch, which is
I'm going to
really
put
positive.
Out a call for help here now. So one of the things it's supposed to have done is allowed Bluetooth microphone to work. Now, I tried it, so I went on to the beta preview, downloaded it, couldn't seem to get my Turtle Beach headset microphone to work. So if you have downloaded the preview and you have got a Bluetooth microphone to work on the headset, let me know. Yeah, drop us a message at casting.
Dan, I said it to you before, I'm going to say it to you again. Get your ass onto Reddit, right? I have found every solution for anything I've ever needed on Reddit, in a Reddit subreddit, because people just talk about anything in there. And if there's something like, I talk about, Crimson Desert and the tweaking the setting, I just go in there. I just go in the Crimson Desert thread, type in my graphics card, and it goes, here's all the stuff you need to do it, dude, honestly. And they've even got AI to help you.
I want people to message us. I want people to message us.
No, I get that, but you also want to fix the problem.
Yeah, but future you, cut that bit out. Right, let's move on. Let's move on. Yeah, so on to the main focus of this episode, which is going to be Resident Evil, as I said, because it turns 30. So, yeah, 22nd of March 96 it launched. So I'm just, like I said, having a look really at the first game, because obviously that's what kicked it all off. And as I looked into it, I found out some really interesting things about it. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a quick plug for some friends. So if you want more in-depth analysis on the games themselves, have a look at Chat Tsunami. So he did a little while ago a whole month on it, and I was on for 7 and 8 to talk about 7 and 8. And I think if it's not his current episode, next week's episode is going to be a focus on 9. And nice. Yeah, and I think he had our friend Joey on for Resi 4, because I know he's a big fan of that. So
it's a good game. It's a good game. Good one to be on for.
Yeah. Be on
Resi 4.
Yeah, so it's a game released in 1996. Didn't just scare players, but it helped define an entirely new genre, that of the survival horror. But as I said, story is fascinating. It began as something very different, almost didn't become a franchise at all, and its limitations weirdly ended up shaping one of the most influential game designs in its history. So, Dan, before we move on. Have you played the original game, or generally, what's your sort of exposure to Resi?
I did play the original game on PlayStation. Was it PlayStation? The original PlayStation, I think. I did play Resident Evil. Did I enjoy it? I guess at the time I did, because it was fresh and new. It was a horror game, which was quite unique. I think up until that point, you probably had something like Alone in the Dark or something like that, which was very similar. Tank controls, fixed camera. I remember the dog window scaring the shit out of me. That bit I remember. I didn't finish it. I know that much. I probably got maybe halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way through it. I think even at that point, though, I got very frustrated with inventory management and the save, because I think at that point, was saving games? It would have been a thing, but having to have something in your inventory that meant you could save your game was very frustrating from my perspective. I didn't really click with it. I like the, because this is long before zombies were all the rage, long before your Walking Deads and this is before zombies really took off. Zombies took off, but they did, I guess.
These damn zombies becoming too cool and just becoming too.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, brains. So yeah, but before they became a pop culture reference for everyone, so it was a very cool setting. I like the stars thing. I like, a team of agents going into, why the fuck they were going to a mansion house? I mean, I'm sure there was a better place for them to be for a zombie outbreak, but whatever. I'm sure you'll cover that in the story notes, because I didn't get that far. So I liked some of the characters. It was very, very Japanese in terms of,
that's probably fair for
aesthetic trying to replicate a kind of American thing, which was a bit weird. But yeah, I mean, I'm not, me, I'm not a massive fan of survival horror anyway, unless it's set on a space station, which this isn't. So, but no, but I can totally get why people love this series. I really can.
Yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it? So I think I remember dabbling with it originally, but I think I said at the time I came to the place
like it's a drug. I did dabble with Resident Evil in my youth, yes.
But I think because I said to you at the time I got to the PlayStation very late on. I think I just got, my eyes were distracted by some of the other games that were out at the time, etc. I'd recently started playing the HD remake now, and I'm going to be honest. And I said to you, look, I've said I don't like survival horror, but I've changed my tune. I think turns out I do like them, because quite a lot of the games I played. But I think the first 3 Resi games, now I've definitely played through the second and third remakes. I just don't like them as much, because I think some of the legacy mechanics don't sit right with me now. And in the sense, not sit right with me for any reason other than I haven't got the patience or the time to do it.
It might come up later. Does the remake have the same tank controls and door opening, and does it have all of that, or is it?
You've got 2. You can do 2 controls, like the modern.
Right. Okay. So you can have.
And the door opening, it has got that, because I think they're iconic, but it's really quick now. It's like, sorry, Dan, I'm going to have to invoke it. Block your ears for a couple of seconds. Mass Effect, like the original game, had lift sequences where full conversation would play out, because obviously it was a loading mechanic. But in the new the new edition they did, basically there's a button you can skip it because it's loaded straight away in the background, so you can either play it or skip. But
damn those faster consoles.
But you said about the reason for being in the mansion. So I'm again not going to go into the game specifically too much itself, plot wise or review wise, but it begins with a series of mysterious murders in the forest outside Raccoon City. An elite police unit called STARS is sent to investigate. After the Bravo team disappears, Alpha team, including Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, and the Captain Albert Wesker, is dispatched to search for them. When the team is attacked by zombie dogs, they take refuge inside a mysterious mansion, and inside they discover horrific biological experiments and undead creatures. And then they uncover the truth. The thing is, right, and this is going to be a really silly question, but I'm going to ask it, right? So, did you ever know, or did it clock why it was called Resident Evil?
No.
I'm really glad because I didn't.
What was it called? Biohazard originally?
Well, it's called Biohazard, I think, in Japan, but I think
Right.
in America, I've got it somewhere. I think in America, there'd already been a game called Biohazard. So they had an internal competition, if I remember right. And Resident Evil won because it's in a residence that's got evil in it. So it's called Resident Evil. And that is why.
Wouldn't it be called Residence Evil or an evil residence rather than, because a resident is someone who lives in a residence, isn't it?
But isn't that fantastic that we've got this iconic franchise now?
Fucking hell.
I'm so glad because I didn't know. So basically, yeah, it's an evil residence, but it's called Resident.
It's almost like they don't understand how English works.
See, I just thought it was called Resident Evil. So before everyone's, when you finish laughing at us, I thought it was called Resident Evil because it was just like there was inherently evil was there in that area. So I just thought,
which would actually make more sense.
Yeah, not because it's a house and it's got
it
evil
could have been called Dodgy Manor House. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. Creepy bungalow.
Yeah. It's not a bungalow.
Well, it's not a bungalow. Yeah.
Stairs, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. But yeah, so, all right, that was a little tangent there. But yeah, so that's the story. And look, just in that little recap, it's iconic, isn't it? Because you've got Raccoon City, which we know links back into the new one, Stars, Jill Valentine, Chris. So sales-wise, right, and I'm going to be jumping around a lot. Resident Evil was a bestseller in Japan, North America, and Europe, including the UK. It became the best-selling PlayStation game ever at the time of release. Mm-hmm. In Japan, the game sold 1.016 million units in 1996, which made it the fourth best-selling game of the year. In the US, the game sold over 1 million copies by early September, which became basically a system seller for the PlayStation. So, we talk about PlayStation going back to their exclusive roots, right? Take a look at that. In Europe, shipped 230,000 units on its first day of release. Wow. And by 1997 December, so just over a year, the game had sold about 4 million units worldwide and grossed more than $200 million, which is just over 400 in 2025 money. So
that's a lot of bucks.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
And how's it doing now then?
Well, it didn't win me over. It didn't win me over, but the director, who is Shinji Mikami, the funny thing is, he said at the time he was worried about how well a horror game would really sell, and they didn't expect it to be a franchise. So,
but it's very unique, certainly for that time. Was a very unique approach to that style of game, and nobody had done anything like that. I said you had Alone in the Dark, but that wasn't the same.
Yeah.
It was truly one of a kind. And I think when you have that sort of thing, it's either going to hit or it's going to miss, and it hit big time, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like you can play Resident Evil 1 now, the remake. It just feels less horror-y, scary now. Horrific, horror-like. But I'm guessing at the time it was new words with gaming views.
Pros us.
This is welcome to our new feature, new words with gaming views. But I guess at the time, right? It like you said, that especially those dogs, right? Everybody remembers. Everyone quotes that, whether you've played it or not. Like everyone quotes those zombie dogs jumping.
It's like the leapers in Resident Evil 2. Is it leapers in 2? Well, you're up in you come out at the top of the police station and you're walking along the corridor and you got the leapers come at you or come across the ceiling or whatever they are. But the dogs are the leapers of Resident Evil 1.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me.
But and I remember the thing I was going to say, going back to your point, about the save thing. For me, it's not so much about having to have the item, but it's the fact that you could only save in a certain room. And
all of the above.
Yeah, that house was, the house, and I think we say it, the house is ultimately a puzzle. It's not a location; it's a puzzle itself. So sometimes you just end up on the And it's a me thing, right? I can't remember where that bloody room is. So, I'm running from a zombie or something. And
There's a safe room somewhere.
But the thing is, right, and we'll talk about it in the next point, like the limited inventory as well. But in this, so I started playing the Jill campaign. I don't know if there's a difference inventory-wise, but you've got 6 slots, right?
Yeah.
Which is, firstly, is tiny. But second, you can't drop items. You can only either use them or put them into the item box. So at one point, I get to a place where there was a couple of items I needed. I thought I was going to need, but I couldn't because I'd had 3. I've got like 3 herbs in the inventory. So I mixed them up, but I couldn't because I'd already mixed them. Long story short, I couldn't use them because I had full health. Yeah. So I restarted the game. Basically.
Is that what you did? Because I remember you saying at one point you were getting zombies to bite you on purpose so you could use the herb to have 3 slots. Like, how insane is that from a game design perspective?
And then I realised...
It's like, if you play it perfectly how we meant you to play it, you'd be fine.
And then I realised that it didn't do what I wanted, because I wanted to then mix the red herb with the green herb and then combine it for 3 slots, but you need to have, I think, 3 green herbs combined to allow the red herb.
But that whole thing in and of itself is a puzzle, right? The inventory management is a puzzle because they even expand on that later. It almost becomes like a Tetris thing, doesn't it? When you play some of the later games, because you have more squares, but things take up more squares, and therefore you're trying to, just give me an auto sort, click. No, it's done it. Yeah, I'm lazy like that.
So. Yeah, so that was just some of the frustration I had sort of coming back to it now. But so if we looked at it, so the horror scene before Resident Evil, you said it yourself, really. Survival horror as a genre didn't exist. So there were horror-themed games, but nothing that had defined what horror gameplay should look like, right?
Yeah.
And as you said, one of the biggest influences was Alone in the Dark. That was developed by Infogrames. So that game introduced a number of ideas that would become a staple of horror games. So fixed camera angles, 3D characters moving through pre-rendered environments, and puzzle-based exploration. But Alone in the Dark was mainly PC game, and its controls and combat were clunky. So,
fucking hell, I mean, that's understatement of the episode. I mean, compared to Resident Evil, like Resident Evil was a dream compared to Alone in the Dark. That game was horrendous for controls.
And we've mentioned this next game. So Capcom had already experimented with horror earlier on with Sweet Home on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh my God, I've shown screens of this in one of the horror episode, I think. It would have been the horror episode. Go and check that out if you fancy. Yeah, Sweet Home.
Yeah, so that game introduced the concepts of limited inventory, puzzle progression, notes and diaries, and a haunted mansion setting. But
Shinji Mikami was heavily influenced by Sweet Home for this.
Yeah. So, and again, but you look at that and it's a very basic, because it was on the NES, right? So it was a very basic game. And again, I love how some modern games take the roots from some of the simplest looking games. And imagine if they could have done, if they had that technology at the time they were making that game, what they potentially would have done with that. Yeah,
totally. Are you going to talk about what his original idea for Resident Evil was going to be?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, that's
no. That was still. I'm not looking at your notes. You told me not to look at them, so I literally haven't got notes up on the screen. So
I know you know a little bit about that, so we will come on to it. And if I miss out, but I know there were a number of early prototypes. So tell you what, let me skip that. No, I'm not going to skip down to it. We're going to do this in order, Daniel.
Do it in order. Don't let me throw you.
So the creation of Resident Evil, because obviously you then get the PlayStation and the increase in technology so they can do funkier things, right? Project was led by director Shinji Mikami and producer Tokuro Fujiwara. They began developing it in 1993 and the game took 3 years to complete.
Can you imagine a game just taking 3 years development?
It's when you say just,
but compared to now, like it's double, if not triple that now. It's insane.
Yeah, and they didn't have,
and money wise,
and they didn't have AI to help them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, although they do now, they can make Grace look different.
Yeah. But having, like you said, having the time to do that, and 3 years to get out a game like that, during the first 6 months, though, Mikami worked almost entirely alone, which I find interesting. So he did the concept drawings, designed the characters, and wrote 40 pages of script.
Yeah.
Now, the game was originally planned for the Super Nintendo, with developer Koji Oda involved after working on Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which again is another classic game, which we should probably talk about at some time. But in 94, so a year into development, it shifted solely to the PlayStation because of the hardware and the vision the team had. So
it's funny because Nintendo and Sony have never fallen out over video games, Dan.
And for more episode on that, go check out our PlayStation deep dive. But yeah, Dan's tongue is firmly in his cheek on that one. But Koji Oda revealed at the time that the setting was going to be more of a hellish landscape before being changed to a more realistic setting, which I find interesting. That on a mind you, maybe on a more, I say, basic system, not to disrespect the Super Nintendo, but it was planned on being a hellish landscape, and maybe
16-bit not good enough for you, then.
I know. You know me. I get my head turns around when I see someone playing Pac-Man. So
you do, yeah.
They also, the film, as you'd probably expect, drew heavily from films, right? So Mikami drew from classic zombie cinema, because you said zombies in games, not really the thing, but there'd been a few of the classic films. So Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead.
You've seen those, right?
Yeah, loved them back in the day. Not the remakes, the originals, yeah. Yeah, Romero stuff.
Yeah, and isn't Dawn of the Dead, no, which one is basically Dead Rising? No, not Dead Rising.
Oh, yeah, in the supermarket. Yeah, Dead Rising. Yeah, it's, what's the second one you mentioned?
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead is the supermarket with
it's
the
basically Dead Rising, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's another great zombie game. I played all of those. They're fantastic games.
Yeah,
I can't remember the guy's name, the photographer.
Frank something. Red. I want to say Frank read something.
Probably.
Not that he read a book. That his name starts with Red.
About zombies.
Frankieson. So they used those films to concentrate the game's focus. Basically, what they drew from that was the feeling of isolation, which, look, whether you like the game or not, I think you can't get away from the fact that it is an isolated experience, isn't it? Other than all the zombies trying to kill you. Scarcity of resources and characters trapped in dangerous environments. So once they realised they wanted to then put it in a mansion, the film was partly inspired by the Overlook Hotel from The Shining.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And from then on, the team then grew to 80 people. Now, getting on to some of the other influences and early prototypes. So, before I do, we talked about Alone in the Dark's influence on it. Mikami was initially reluctant to adopt the same style because that had a fixed view camera. He said it would have an effect on immersion, making the player feel more detached.
Yeah.
But they eventually adopted it because the use of pre-rendered backdrops allowed a higher level of detail than his first 3D person view prototype, which didn't get so long well with the original PlayStation specs. So
yeah, it was going to do a first-person shooter, wasn't it? Essentially.
Yeah, so I kind of said it there, but yeah, that's what you were going to say. So wasn't it? So
yeah, it was going to be an FPS original, which would have been very, very. Although you could argue that the Bakehouse and the subsequent, particularly in VR, became just that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it took a while.
Did you play that in VR?
Bakehouse did. It scared the absolute shit out of me.
I would not touch that.
Absolutely panicked the hell out of me. Like it's, and that was on the original PSVR, not even on the 2. So the visual fidelity on the 2 is like so much higher. I'm just like, I'm not even bothered. Just no.
That's the interesting thing, isn't it? Look, it's easy to say when most of the games have been third person, but I do feel like there's something. It feels more natural, and it feels like it adds more to it being third person, always because you can kind of see a little bit behind the character as well.
Yeah.
GTA 5, the newer versions have got a first person mode. I think I used it for about 30 seconds to see what it looked like, went straight back to third person because I feel it's taken away from the world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
what's worse about the Bakehouse one? It gives you this false sense of security because you're essentially, like, to teach you the rules of the VR in the game, you're wandering around a gun range, picking up, weapons and shooting things and knives, and you're like, oh, I can do all this stuff, throwing knives and things. And then you get dropped into the game, like in the woods, and you're like, I haven't got any guns. I can't shoot anything. I'm completely alone and I'm going to die horridly. And that first room you walk into with all is it the kitchen area with that
filthy.
And you're like, with all the audio cues, you're just like, but no, I don't want to do this anymore.
I have to say, look, I've played it again recently, but the first time I played Resident Evil 7, genuinely creeped me out. There's something about that saying. Firstly, it did look, the graphics still now, but at the time looked really good.
Yeah, stunning.
There's something about that. The setting being almost more realistic, that it's in the middle of nowhere. It's, it's not that mansion. It's just like in the middle of America somewhere, somewhere. And
Leatherface, isn't it? It's like,
it genuinely felt chilling. Yeah. And that kitchen.
Spooky.
Anyway, enough about my clean sort of my disregard for how dirty they kept their house.
Disgusting.
Yeah, so you've said it. It was initially one prototype had first person view, so it showed more similarity, as said, to Doom than Alone in the Dark. And we said it, a first person perspective was not used again for the mainline series until.
Hang on a minute, first person shooter in a hellscape. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so they didn't then use first person until 2017, Resi 7. It was going to have ghosts instead of zombies in one version.
Sure. Ghostbusters. Why not?
Well, you're thinking then like super ghouls and ghosts, maybe. I don't know. It feels a bit. I can't.
No, definitely they did zombies. You needed a physical manifestation of something, not a protoplasmic thing.
And like you said, zombies are just inherently scarier.
Yeah. Ghosts. Go on in, hit me. Oh, you can't.
Although they can chase you better than a zombie.
They can slime you.
Well, they can go through walls and doors where a zombie can't.
Well, they can. They can smash them down.
Oh, they'd have to open the door. Ghosts can just fly through it. Are we really arguing about...
I know, it's like a game of Top Trumps.
Right, moving on.
Top Trumps, zombies versus ghosts.
Top Trumps. Now that's a game. Right, so it was more of a shooter. A later prototype, and I think you mentioned this, right, in an episode, had co-op gameplay.
I don't know if I did. Well, I don't think I did, actually. I'm interested.
Yeah, it featured co-op gameplay, and it was eventually removed because technically technology wasn't strong enough. So that was revealed in 95. So just a year before it was released, they had the co-op prototype, and it had different outfits. And a demo was made for a festival, a V-Jump festival in Japan that had real-time weapon changes, because that changed. So you have to go into the inventory, select a thing, but
select it to come out again.
Yeah, so they had
you still see those Sweet Home influences, because whilst it wasn't co-op, Sweet Home, you had different characters you could move between. Do you know what I mean? You could still see some of these influences coming out of the game, and you didn't have weapons and things, but you had items that you could use to do certain functions in the game. So you can see these influences bleeding into Resident Evil.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, and look, and people will say that for everyone who would want like a real-time weapon change, that's why it makes it more of a horror game at the time. And absolutely, but when you're so used to pressing the Y button to change your weapon, but the inventory keeps popping up when you're doing it.
It's annoying.
Yeah, so they then removed that along with the co-op mode, and they removed some of the flashier looking outfits, it looks like. Now,
the ones that remained weren't enough. Jesus Christ! They're this specialist task force that had uniforms designed by Versace or something. You were like, what are you there for? Like, they're not combat uniforms. It's like they're very posh. And look at our shiny logo. It's a bit random, isn't it?
well, I think one branch of the police in Italy, for at least for a bit of time, did have their uniform was designed by Armani, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Gucci,
Maybe they were stars cops.
Yeah, maybe. In 96, there was an early preview in Maximum Console. Now, that's a game magazine title, isn't it? Maximum Console. Featured a graveyard.
Maximum Console.
Well, that had a graveyard which was removed, but that then came back in the 2002 remake. So they took it out the original game and brought it back. Yeah. So the graveyard, which was removed, eventually made it into the 2002 remake and featured in the game until late in development, where guest houses and a tower were replaced by the guardhouse and the lab.
So they remade the game 6 years later. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm going to go on later about the list of games. No,
I was just
that's
getting
fine.
my head around it. Like, hang on a minute, it came out in 96 and then they released it again in 2002.
But yeah, so you had, the game came out in 96 and in 2002 you had the Resident Evil remake. Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
not with Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, well, yeah. Right, we're scooting back up.
I've thrown him. Oh no, shit. Sorry, Dad.
Yep, and co-op mode and real-time weapon changes did come into the franchise in 2009 in Resident Evil 5. Now, you probably won't see it because I don't think they included it in the remake, but do you remember in the original, the live-action intro? Oh, you need to watch it.
Do not.
Well, let's play it.
Notes are going down.
Yeah, if you can find it and add it. So one of the more memorable parts of Resident Evil is its live action opening. So instead of CGI, Capcom filmed full motion video sequences with American actors in Japan. The scenes were shot on a limited budget, but they gave the game a unique B-movie horror atmosphere. And honestly, it's incredible. It's incredible. So yeah, if you play that over this little bit, it does look like a proper 90s made for TV drama, film. And I'm sure they
expect nothing less, Dan.
Excess on the blood, which probably at the time blew people away, right? Back in 96.
They'd already seen Night Trap, so maybe not.
Well, and scared a lot of censors probably as well. Yeah. The voice acting also became quite famous, I think, for being quite bad, or some of the lines. Now,
was it?
Yeah. Well, the reason, really? So all versions of the game actually featured English voice acting, right? Even in Japan, but Japanese voice performances were recorded but left unused, as Mikami found the quality of the performance is inadequate. However, lead programmer Yasuhiro Anpo had said that due to all the development staff being Japanese, they were unaware of the poor localization that apparently hindered the realism and immersion of the title for the international release, which is why you got dialogue like you were almost a Jill sandwich. So
you were almost a Jill sandwich.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons for the redub in the 2002 remake. So I think, it's very likely went through a translate system, and then they got it acted, but the programmers didn't know how bad it was because they were Japanese. So
I do love translation errors in games. What was the Metal Gear Solid one? All our bases are
was that Metal Gear Solid? I think it was something else, but all your base belonged to us or something.
All your base belonged to us.
Yeah,
I thought it was Metal Gear Solid memorable.
So Resident Evil. Residents are evil. But its biggest innovation was its gameplay, right? So instead of giving the player lots of power straight on, it made you feel vulnerable from the start. And we've said it before, limited ammunition, limited inventory space, tank-style controls, which even in the remake I started playing, it's funny because I used the modern version and it's great, but you're running off a screen, then into the next screen, you're running the opposite way. So instinctively, you want to move your controller the other way, but then you start going the other way. And I was just running around in a circle.
It's horrendous. It's so bad. I do remember that. I do remember struggling really bad with it. And that was one of the things they took from Alone in the Dark, did that really badly as well. You'd run onto a screen, and because it was a fixed camera, you were like, you're running up, but the camera was from the other side. You'd be entering the room, and then you suddenly find yourself running the other way out of the room. And you're like, for fuck's sake.
Why should I keep pushing forwards? But if I'm pushing forwards, it feels like I'm turning back. But no, you want me to push forwards, because by turning back, you're actually, I don't know.
You know, the modern day equivalent is ladders in video games. you know, when you go to, you've had this, right? You go to a ladder, you're like, and then you climb onto the ladder and you go, am I still pushing for? No, if I push forward, I'm going to come back up. And then you pop him back up, and I do it in every game with the ladder. And I always forget. And I'm like, for the first couple of hours, I'm fucking just jumping off of ladders again. I'm like, ladders.
Oh, ladders, the bane. You don't need to have zombies. Just give Dan a game full of ladders. Yeah.
Just ladders. Just remember to pull the other direction, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. You had puzzle, and look, tank controls weren't just limited to this, right? I think it was a sign of the times. You said as well, Tomb Raider, right? That I remember that being quite painful. And
yes, totally.
Before, when you just had the D-pad as well on the original release of the PlayStation, right?
Yeah, totally. No sticks, people.
No sticks. Puzzle solving, obviously a massive thing, but I also find, and look, Silent Hill had this too, but this is where it can also be a make or break for you, right? Because it's about, I found this, but now I have to find I've got the Scorpion key, but I now need to find the Lion key. Oh no, but the Lion key doesn't work here. I've got to find the bit of metal that has the Lion key head. But no, I found a fake Lion key. I think it's Armor key in Resident Evil 1. So I've now got to find a real one. And then I've got to replace, because I've picked that up and there's a trap. So I've got to make sure I've got that key on me so I can put it in the trap to reset the trap. And it's just, is it fun or is it stress?
Don't be funny, Dan. Zombie apocalypse. How many puzzles are you solving? I mean, I'm not going to sit there and do the Times cryptic crossword. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
hang on a minute. I'm just going to do Wordle. Just give me a sec.
I know. If I could defeat the zombies with Wordle, I'll be all right. So it gives me, if I have to work out what key goes where and if I have to replace the key with something. But
madness.
Because there was one of the puzzles was like you pick a key out the floor, but that sets this death machine in motion. You've got to make sure you then put the fake key in there. And then you've got like fake shotguns, which I think some of the later games also do. Like you take the shotgun off its rest and then it triggers something like Lock 3 where you got to put another shotgun on it.
I am sure it did.
People back me up. But
I didn't play that far.
And I could tell you anything. Yeah, and
that bit where the clown comes out.
Yeah. No, Resident 7's got the birthday party, hasn't it?
Has it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, right, we'll
didn't get that far.
We'll spoil that when we eventually do Resident Evil 7. But it also forced players to
When's that, 25 years old?
Well, I think in 18 years' time. Right, so, and it, it forced you to make decisions. So, for example, if you're not playing it on the easy level, your ammo becomes more scarce. So there was legitimately an option of, running past the zombies to conserve the ammo because, you might need it later. So scarcity of ammo and that kind of decision became a real sort of core point of most horror games from then on, right?
Yeah. And it wasn't like, even headshots, I think in that game didn't really count as headshots. It was just, zombies took 3 or 4 bullets or whatever it was to take them down. It wasn't a simple thing, was it?
Yeah, and I can't remember if it's just for the remake, but they also had the mechanic that if you didn't take their heads off with the gun, like your shotgun, they could come back to life as stronger, so you had to burn them. So you had to find like you find like a little container where you could fill with kerosene and a lighter, and then you set them on fire to stop them coming back.
I didn't know that. They've done that in the more recent one as well, haven't they? They've got returning zombies after you've killed them.
Yeah. So, another cool little twist to the gameplay even back then. So, a little bit on the mansion. So, we've said they designed it like a giant interconnected puzzle. And I think, and that's it. That really tells. And like you said, because just like Silent Hill, it's the puzzle of how do you get to that room? Because, on the map, I've just got to go through this door. But no, that door's locked, isn't it? So you then got to go right round the whole, go into the West Wing to and go up the stairs and fall down a hole and then climb a ladder. But, it was made to have a sense of mystery and foreboding and to make it a character. So one of the cool things, now I hadn't appreciated it as well till played the remake briefly. I'm not going to say how brief. It was what you couldn't see more than what you could see. So enemies could hide off screen, and so there's a cool feature early on in one of the corridors. There's a mirror just leaning against the wall, and you think it's just a bit of scenery, but you can, if you wait, you can see a zombie appear in it. So the hallway you're running into has got a zombie.
Oh, okay.
And I thought it was
because it's angled, reflecting the hallway. Got you.
Yeah, so that's cool. Now, so enemies could hide off screen. This one feels like they're really sort of reaching for the tank controls, but players never had full control of their view. So I think they mean by the fixed camera angles. You can't now.
Okay, yeah.
You can rotate it, can't you? And the game used like sparse music, creaking doors, and distant zombie modes. Now, it wouldn't be anything without some of its iconic scares. So it said, the one you've said here, the dogs crashing through the hallway windows. But do you also remember there's the first zombie you come across? It's in one of the hallways, and it's this really creepy looking thing. And I think you're running in a hallway, and there's a body on the floor, and it's feasting on that, and then it just turns its head round slowly.
I do remember, yeah.
Scariest things. And again, it's probably tame nowadays, but again, you think back in the day, this was quite innovative, right? And
yeah,
it was like a cutscene, wasn't it? So took you away.
I still maintain that actually nothing in that game is as scary as the original game cover. To be honest.
Oh, what which one?
The dude with the weird face, like the Stars cop that looks like nothing of any of the characters in the game. I don't know if he's supposed to be Chris Redfield, but he's just like some weird. It's like, that's the scariest thing about the game. It's so weird.
I was trying to
sell games.
Well, I wanted to send you a picture of it, of the cover to use for the artwork, and I kept seeing that, and I thought, no, this has got to be like a mock-up.
No, that was the original. That was the original game cover. It was so weird. Like for the game case from the PlayStation, it just didn't tell you anything about the game whatsoever, and you were like, "What is this?" It's it's weird. I'll put an image up of it, but it's very weird.
Now, the game was ported, as you'd expect, a number of times once it was successful. So it got Windows in 1996. It got Sega Saturn in 97.
Sony putting games on Windows?
yeah. Saturn in 97. You had the Resident Evil Director's Cut on the PlayStation in 97, and a Nintendo DS version called Deadly Silence in 2006.
Was it?
Yeah. Now,
wow, I didn't know that.
Now, this is the amazing thing. They tried to put it onto the Game Boy Color. So they had set their eyes on handheld consoles early on, attempting to port the entire game to the Game Boy Color. Due to restrictions from the system, the game was scrapped, but some footage shows that the port would have been true to the original game's ideas.
That would have been quite cool.
I mean,
you think there's any footage of it out there?
Apparently there is. It says...
that's another one going in.
Yeah, it's a bit of homework there. It says some rudimentary footage exists of the almost completed game. So
amazing.
It's a shame.
Somebody will finish that someday.
Why couldn't they just cut it down and release it? But the legacy, right? Now, I don't know if you can see this bit. So it's point 10. Look at all
am I allowed to look now? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. You can look at this now. So we're saying they didn't realise, they didn't think it would make a franchise. They weren't sure. Look at it. So between 96 and 2023. So this actually, I probably got to lift it up a little bit there. Oh no, I'm moving it all over the place. Oh no, I'm breaking it. But there's, I think, 37 games have been released. Yeah, including Requiem. Including Requiem. So you got Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil. I'm not going to list them all, but Nemesis. Then you've got like the side games. Well, like Survivor, Code Veronica 2, Resident Evil Gaiden. Then you had remake. I mean,
Resident Evil Gaiden.
It sounds.
Was that a ninja?
Yeah.
Okay.
But just look at that. Then obviously these includes the remakes. You've had the 2, 3, and 4 remake. And I think that they are talking about remaking 5 now, aren't they? I think.
Oh, really?
Sure, I heard that. Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. But yeah, it's sorry, I think 30 games has been released. So, since then you've got 30 games, right? And it's like
That's insane,
from not being confident that they were going to sell or make a franchise, you've then got 30 games out of it.
Just goes to show. It's amazing, isn't it? Like,
yeah. Without it, you wouldn't have, it helped inspire other games like Silent Hill, Dead Space, The Last of Us. I mean, you said, could you imagine remaking the first game, but to feel kind of like Dead Space? I know that would be first person, wouldn't it? But is it first person? Yeah. What? No.
Dead Space.
Was Dead Space third person?
Third person.
Was third person?
Don't you remember the suit?
I just played
the thing
it.
on
Of course, of course it was. Oh my god! I just played it.
Dan is stricken from games. If you want a slot on Gaming Views, I'm looking for a co-host because Dan can't remember if fucking Dead Space is third person or first person.
That I played a few months ago. That's the thing, right? Moving on. So some facts about it, right? So the game was. So we alluded to it, but it was originally a Sweet Home remake. But
pretty much, yeah. Although there weren't Stars Cops in Sweet Home, I don't think they were a group of friends. I think
no. So we've said they would try to have ghosts instead of zombies, but the developers felt that ghost enemies were harder to design believable combat around, which it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. They didn't have proton packs for a start.
Yeah. We've said here about the title. The title was chosen by Capcom USA. I've still, like I said, we've still got a bone to pick with it being called Resident Evil, but we'll leave it there.
I'll let it slide, Dan. They've had enough success. I think it's fair. It's fine.
Yeah, the tank controls were partly a technical solution, so players assume it was a design choice, but they were workaround for camera angles. Because it used fixed cinematic cameras, directional controls had to remain consistent. Otherwise, characters would suddenly reverse direction when the camera changed. I've got a word about that.
It was, sure, it's a design choice. Right, you look at game design that nobody would make a design choice like that. It just wouldn't work. I was playing a game the other day on the PlayStation a couple of months ago called Crow Country. I don't know if you've played Crow Country. So it's basically like a 16-bit Resident Evil game set in an amusement park. But some of that, the very fixed camera angles and things like that. But you get why they've done it that way because they've basically tried to recreate Resident Evil, I guess, in that. So you kind of get it. But even they've put in some quality of life improvements around it. So if you did this now, people would just go, "I'm not playing that."
Yeah. It's we've moved on, haven't we?
100%.
Yeah, the game was censored in Japan. So the Japanese version, it removed the live action gore from the intro cutscene. And again, you have to find that. And it had stricter rules about violence at the time. So changes included reduced blood, removed decapitations, dismemberment, and replacing gore with black sludge, often resulting in separate versions entirely released, as opposed to the West.
Sure.
We mentioned the action focus, but do you know why the action focus was removed?
Made the game too easy. I don't know.
Well, it just said players stop feeling afraid. So I think it just became a shooter.
They Resident Evil 4'd it.
Yeah, and the combat became routine, So the thing is, if you're making it more action, you've got to have more ammo. So from that, they reduced ammo and slowed the enemies down.
Got it.
Mansion was originally supposed to be much larger.
Okay.
Yeah, but memory space and development time cut that down.
Oh, that old chestnut.
Yeah.
We ain't got enough space. We can't do it.
Yeah, the interesting thing here was there was supposed to be more animal mutations. So the final game, you got dogs, snakes, spiders, and I think sharks, right? But the team wanted mutated birds, giant insects, and rats. So
I don't remember spiders or sharks. I don't remember snakes and sharks. I remember the dogs.
Yeah, I mean, you limit. You're obviously hampered by the technology at the time, but again, imagine if they had the artistic ability or the technical ability to deliver what their artistic vision was at that time.
God, yeah. It'd be great to go back to. I think there's a lot of those games where it'd be great to go back to the notes and see what they come up with now, how different it would be.
Yeah.
In an approach and what they could include.
Yeah, and
today's technology.
Yeah, there was an infected great white shark. Neptune, codenamed FI03, is a giant T-virus infected white shark. Great white shark.
There you go.
Yeah. What else? Let's have a look. The inventory limits were much stricter at first. So,
right.
Yep. I think that's still a thing. And look, you said at the start, the door loading screens were a clever trick, as we said, because the game used pre-rendered backgrounds, the system needed time to load the next room. The slow door animation hid the loading process.
And what do we have now, Dan?
Yeah, go on.
crawling through rocks or lifting up tree trunks or, whichever version of that you want from a game, that's what you have these days. I'm just going to creep along this tiny rock gap multiple times in the entire game that all look the same.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Instead of a door.
Yeah. Yeah. But we see through you and your tricks, developers.
Yeah, we do.
But what they did, I think, is really clever. I mean, they could have just done anything, but that opening door still serves a purpose, right? And
it does.
Adds to that bit of tension because it adds that mystery of what you're opening the room into or the door into. So,
100%.
Yeah. And look, and I think there was a few other things that I could talk about. So, they really did study horror films to make some of the cutscenes more cinematic. But yeah, I just think, look, it's they wanted faster, more aggressive enemies as well. So,
I mean, you didn't even get to talk about the shit show that was the movie. So,
Well, we could probably, I think there's at some point a scope to talk about that. But that was actually, no, you raised a good point. I mean, it has then, birthed films and TV show as well, right? It's just incredible.
I really enjoyed the one and only season, I think, of the Resident Evil TV show. I watched it when it was on it must have been a couple of years
ago, I think. It had potential, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a bit of a slow burn, but I actually quite enjoyed it. Completely divergent from anything they'd done before, but I enjoyed it. The movies, however, not so much.
I've only recently watched the first one, I think. I've never really watched it.
Well, it was just an excuse for him to put I don't know if she's his wife at the time, but she certainly was shortly after, just to give her a starring role.
Yeah.
In a movie.
There's two things about the show that stand out for me. Like you, I kind of enjoyed it, but one thing is it's one of Lance Reddick's last roles as well, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Yeah, it's such a shame. But I feel that program the problem that program had as well was that there was that one scene, wasn't there, that became like the meme on social media. The bit where they're singing to Dua Lipa. They're singing the song, Beautiful 180.
God,
I could sing more, but it's not because I don't want to sing. It's I don't want us to not get monetized, right?
No, that's a fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, no, I don't remember. Where are they singing?
I think they're in the office. So she's showing that you can control people with it, and it's just a really bizarre scene.
Yeah.
It's a really bizarre scene, and out of context, it just you think you're watching have they turned this into a comedy? But it's just it kind of really did that show a lot of damage, I think. So
I enjoyed it all the same. I didn't know it was Dua Lipa, but yep, sure. But movie wise, I enjoyed Welcome to Raccoon City. I thought that was all right. It wasn't best, but it wasn't terrible. I enjoyed the Netflix show, like I said, because it told it the time jump tale, didn't it? You had the bit set in the with the terrible singing. The singing in the show was probably quite good. And then the time jump forward to the sisters trying to find each other in the future post apocalypse, which was quite good. And then most excitingly, there's the new movie where they've kind of given Zach Cregger, who has also co-written that, and he's done a bunch of other amazing films. If you've seen anything that he's done, Barbarian, Weapons, he's done some amazing movies that are truly, horror masterpieces. Particularly, Weapons was fantastic. Barbarian was amazing. They've given him carte blanche to do what he wants with that universe. So that's coming out this year, I think it launches. And it's a story of a medical courier trying to get a transplant item across a zombie infested town. I think it might even be Raccoon City. So I'm really looking forward to that because, Zach Cregger's, great at making horror movies. And if they can make a decent, Resident Evil horror movie, that would be amazing.
You shouldn't be able to make a bad one, it feels like.
That's already been done, Dan. They've done that a lot already. So, if you can not make a bad one, it becomes the easy thing to do.
Yeah, it's like, how do you make it? Because it's the simplest of ideas, right? Just create a really tense horror film around zombies.
But I like the whole, it'd be really easy to go, well, let's cast Chris Redfield or let's cast Hot Uncle or whatever his name is. Let's do the Jill Valentine's this world but instead he's kind of gone, no, I'm just going to do something completely different, set outside that universe with none of the characters. And, actually, no, Paul Anderson did that as well, because although they were the characters, none of them resembled any of the characters in the movie. The closest character to any of those was actually the Nemesis. Right. When they bought the Nemesis in one of the movies, and it looked very like Nemesis from Resident Evil Nemesis with a massive Gatling gun on his arm. I think something like that.
We've said before that I think that's the right way to go, because if I want a story in the universe, I'll play the games. Tell me something outside of it, so I'm not already approaching it as well, they didn't do that in the game. That's not how that looked in the game.
Exactly, which is really easy to do, right? Yeah.
All right, well, look, is there anything else? So, have I tempted you to want to go play Resident Evil?
No,
oh, Dan.
No, Dan. No, I'm not. I've said it before. I think I'd quite happily go back, and I did go back and play Resident Evil 4 when it got the remake came out. I played the remake. I wouldn't be interested in 5, I'll be honest. 6, we've talked about the disturbing imagery on the cover. I'm not going to go there.
No.
And giraffes.
Yeah.
7 and 8. I could be tempted to play 8. I've never played, and I know you. But sorry, 8 I have played up into the werewolf bit, but never further. And I know you said the game gets much better from that point, so maybe I should try that. And 9 is like, if you buy it on disc, I might be tempted to borrow it off you once you've done with it and play it. But would I pay for it? Or maybe at some point it'll come out on Game Pass or Sony. Maybe. But no, I'm just not a Resident Evil fan. It just annoys me now.
I've enjoyed the late. Well, I say I've enjoyed late ones. 8, I didn't enjoy as much. There is a really cool section. There's probably one of the most atmospheric sections in there, which I really enjoyed. 9, I really do want to play, but it's just too much at the moment. I need to come down. Now, I think the majority of the games have featured on Game Pass at some point. They're not, okay. I think there's a couple on there now, not all of them. So, at some point down the line, like you say, depending on how much Game Pass is at that time.
I think I own 6, I own 7, I might own 8 as well, actually. I might actually own them still, unless I sold them in my old Xbox. I can't remember.
I mean, 7 is one of the best, but it's still just too creepy. So, yeah.
I definitely own 7 because I got it on the PlayStation because I can use the VR thing.
Yeah, so look, let us know.
And 8, actually. I must own 8 as well.
Probably
on the
got it in a double
PlayStation.
pack. Did you buy it in a double pack or something?
No, I did, because I remember being really excited when they said it was coming. The VR bit was launching for it.
Okay.
Because they did the same for, and I think that I got Resident Evil 4 remake on the PlayStation because they were doing the VR remake for that as well. So I think I've got 4, 7, and 8 on the PlayStation, I think, and then they'll be digital because I've got a digital only console. So
right, yeah. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Let us know your memories of Resident Evil, especially if it's the original version. But yeah, if you've only played the remake, let us know what you think. Tell Dan why he should play it, or back Dan up why he's right not to play it. But either way, just let us know.
Dan's not a retro dude. It's the answer.
What classes is retro now? I mean,
you. Yeah, basically you.
Yeah, if I play it.
You go to bed in your Pac-Man duvet. That's retro, Dan.
Why do you think the camera intentionally I've been turning it away from? Yeah,
don't want people to see it.
Yeah. All right, look. Thank you for listening. Yeah, as I said at the start, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share. We do appreciate all the likes and the reviews we have gotten, comments. Dan, any final words from you?
No, thank you for listening, and thank you for that wonderful tour through Resident Evil, Dan. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
You are welcome. Catch us next week for another episode of Gaming Views, where I'm sure we'll have something planned. We haven't got it planned now, but I'm sure we'll have something.
We're gonna take a look into the wild, crazy world of open world.
Ah, there we go. Yeah. And we're gonna, if you've got the option to DLSS 5 us, maybe do it. Maybe do it, to be fair.
I've already done it on the thumbnail, mate. Don't worry, I've already done it on the thumbnail.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Dan with a gaming flair, pixel dreams and worlds to share, joystick tales and button cues. Welcome to Gaming Views. Level
Resident Evil.